Thanks a million, Des. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Martin Connolly, you are so welcome to Late Lunch on LMFM this afternoon. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Gerry.
Well, from rags to riches. Does that sum up the Dundalk story? Just take me back. You know when your brother, Andy and Paul came in and you became involved in as well. What was that? Was that 2012?
The boys came in at the end of 2012, leading into the season of 2013, yeah.
And at that stage, the club had gone through a desperate time, really, just before that.
Yeah, they had I was the assistant manager with Darius when we won the playoff against Waterford, and it was really a dire situation, and the boys made a really brave decision to come in and take over the club, and I think it's fair play to them, and it's a wee bit of a sad day today that the two boys have left, but just on one thing, they were met with a business that they run already in Fastfix, which employs 14 or 15 people, and I was just listening to Des on that on the way up, and Colin on the sports news before that, and I think it's obvious that the expectations that they had built over the last 4 years were continuing to grow, and I think the next question that they were going to be challenged with was the stadium and facilities and all of that. And to be fair, Gerry, this process has been ongoing for the last 5, 6, 7 months, and even when we were going through the European success in 2016, we were constantly being asked about investment and from various areas of the world, Russians, Ukrainians.
Are you saying to me that people were coming to you, that people were approaching the boys?
Yes.
And is that what happened in this case? Peak Six came to them?
Yes.
And there were many others, you say, on the scenario. Why Peak Six, and when did serious talks begin?
Well, why Peak Six? Well, I think if you were asked the two boys, and I'm sure that they will at some stage just come out and have a chat about it, they, as I said, they were faced with a major decision. That how do you keep the success of the football club going? How do you improve the facilities? How do you keep the product on the pitch? All those things, and keep a business that they had going as well.
And they've achieved so much, we must say that, winning the leagues, getting into the group stages. Yeah. How do you push the bar on or moving up?
I think maybe Des touched on it. I think the one thing that they would like to be remembered about is channeling this huge community spirit that they have that we have in Dundalk Football Club. It's very well documented, and the people from P6 would tell you this, that the one thing that when they came into Dundalk that they were amazed with was the flags and the amount of Dundalk supporters walking around in Dundalk jerseys, not Liverpool, not Man United, Dundalk merchandising and Dundalk here. And that would be probably one of the proudest things that they have, is that we have a huge array now of volunteers, we have a huge array of and we have channeled this community spirit into supporting the football club.
They see that all right, but listen, these aren't dummies in any way. These are people who look at something and they look to see what an investment can yield for them. Mm-hmm. And I've had a look at Peak Six myself this morning, and I see what they're about. They're more than sport as well. They invest in businesses, they're in IT, they're in sport, they're in many areas. They'll want a return for this, because obviously Andy and Paul have benefited. They've got the Queen shilling or the dollar or whatever you like to say now. How much did they get?
Who?
The boys. How much did they pay for it?
That's none of my concern and none of my business, Gerry.
But they did well.
I don't know.
They did well, but we'll take it that they did okay. Anyway, they're out of it.
Well, put it to you like this, Gerry. The decision that they had to make is going forward is where did they go? Where did they go with Dundalk Football Club? And if at some stage, you have to remember that when they walked in, they made a very brave decision to invest in a League of Ireland football club. Now, me and you have discussed this on many occasions, and the problem here is that there's not too many people that are prepared to do that.
Yes.
So if they did get compensation or get the money back, well then,
good luck to them, and they're entitled to it, and they're probably the first people that ever made anything out of League of Ireland football, because there were so many people have been ruined, you're right, by League of Ireland clubs and have run into problems with it. Supporters will ask this, Martin, and you mentioned that these people, you said, were impressed by the town, by the club, by the fans, by what is there. Would you be concerned, or are they right to have any concern that the club ownership has passed out of the hands of any local interest and there'll be no local involvement, and here are, at the moment, faceless type of people that they don't know taking over? Is there any reason to be concerned?
Well, that's the reason I'm here, Gerry. I'm here to explain the process, and I'm here to talk to the Dundalk supporter. I wouldn't be concerned because I know Andy and Paul. Well, obviously I do. One of them's my brother. But I know that you know they've had long thoughts about this, and it's really something that they had to think long and hard about. And I come back to what I said to you earlier. We were in a process where we were approached a number of occasions by different people, by different groups. They have looked at everyone. They have looked at every proposal. If they felt in any way that it wasn't the right one and it wasn't the right fit for Dundalk Football Club, they'd still be the owners today. But because of the challenges that they feel that they have in their everyday life and the job that they already have, they had a decision to make. And the decision is that they feel that these are very good people to have to entrust in the football club. Like, you know, the boys will tell you, it was their turn to run the football club. It was in a very exciting period, and they were hugely successful. Now it's somebody else's turn.
The model of Ireland, I've said it to you, I think we've had this conversation before. Look at what we have here. We now have a 10-team Premier Division with 4 places in Europe. You can buy into clubs in the Championship in England, in the lower echelons of the Premier League, and you'll never smell Europe with them.
Yes.
They obviously saw this as well. There's a route to Europe here. So I want to ask you this question. Is it a prerequisite, is it a requirement of Stephen Kenny now, there's more pressure on Stephen Kenny, to win that league this coming season and qualify for Europe at the worst case scenario? In other words, to get them into the pool of massive money that will give them a return.
Well, I don't think that's an immediate thing. I think from talking to them, they would agree with you that the Dundalk story was a very attractive story to them and attracted them. And you're quite right that they could have probably invested in a lower championship team. You're quite right with that. But what I would say to you is, if you ask them, and I have, and I've spoken to them, they will say that their aim is to continue the Dundalk story and to continue the Dundalk success, and they will invest in that in order to do that. Now, Stephen is probably the most successful manager in Ireland. He's without doubt the best manager in Ireland. So that he lives with that pressure every day. So that's, you know, if you're telling me are they going to be happy finishing, or if you're asking me are they going to be happy finishing 5th or 6th, I don't think so. No, but I think they will. I think. They will want European. They will tell you that they want European qualification and they want it regularly, and that's because they want the club to succeed. And if I was a Dundalk supporter, which I am, I would be hugely excited with that.
In the overall context, because you need other clubs to make up a league, and now this puts Dundalk onto a different level. We will. I mentioned it to Des earlier on, if you were listening, and he brought it up about Rosenborg. Dundalk will be the new Rosenborg. They'll win the league year on year on year.
Again, Gerry, from talking to them, everything will be done within budget. There'll be budgets for everything. There is no. I'm listening to Colin on the way up in the sport news, and he said that Stephen Kenny's squad was nearly complete. It wasn't. It isn't. You know, and even if Andy and Paul was, there would still be another 2 or 3 players coming into the squad. It's not complete. So I would say that those 2 or 3 players will still come into the squad. There might be a better grade of a player, but they will still be within a budget that is being set by the owner.
League of Ireland is a passion. There's been no money in it. Look around the league as well. Facilities are poor. Clubs are in the main poorly run. If you take Dundalk and Cork out of the equation, other clubs have come and gone. Money is not abundant. Facilities are bad. Here are people coming in who are dealing with Roma, Bournemouth in the Premier League. Jesus, they're going to get some shock when they land on the ground here and go to the UCD Bowl on a Tuesday night.
We're able to walk into Oriel Park. They'll know about the lack of facilities, and we're the first ones to hold our hands up, and we're well aware of that. And I come back to what I said to you earlier, is that is a decision that is where Andy and Paul were met with. Do the next stage of the development of Dundalk Football Club, and we're very well aware of that. It's just that Peak 6 and the new owners have decided that they want to lead that, and they're well aware of that. And I think, again, I just think that is great news for people from Dundalk. Now I have to emphasise that they haven't produced a plan with a new 7,000 seater Oriel Park. They haven't done that.
Is that coming?
Not that I know of. So there's no new diggers going into Oriel Park in the next couple of weeks. But they are well aware of the lack of facilities in Oriel Park and what is needed. So they're not coming in blindfolded. But you've made a very good point. And again, Andy and Paul would emphasise this. The reason that again, I come back to the fact that we had so many people interested in Dundalk Football Club, but the fact that Peak 6 has got a very healthy balance sheet, and they are involved with Bournemouth, and they are involved Nice, is it, from France, and
Roma.
Yes, Roma.
Yeah.
And I can tell you as well, I know that they're talking to other clubs around Europe. So
is there a chance then that Dundalk will see, something crossed my mind, fringe players at Roma, at Bournemouth, at places like that? Will we see players like that coming to Dundalk and getting an opportunity here in the League of Ireland? Will that linkage help?
Well, from what I can gather and what I would know is that that's only if Stephen Kenny thinks they're good enough. There's no way.
He's the boss.
There's no way that somebody's going to come into from Bournemouth that can't get a game with Bournemouth's under 20 team and think that you can play with Dundalk Football Club and go and win the League of Ireland.
And it's another point. You know the way owners at times love to dabble in the football end of things. The worst thing that could happen, let me say, in the world, will these people leave Stephen Kenny to his own devices and let him manage the football side?
Yeah, I agree. I think so. I don't think there's any reason why they shouldn't. Stephen Kenny, as we said, is definitely the best manager in the League of Ireland and the most successful. And I don't see any reason why that would change. Why his control would be undermined anyway. I think he's very good at his job, and let him get on with it.
Do you think this could be a blueprint for others? You know, like I did mention the guy from Peterborough's come into Waterford now, and he has a linkage there. But maybe other clubs, and that it could be the start of lifting this whole league. Because I don't have to tell you, it is desperately in need of a lift.
Absolutely not, Gerry. I'm well aware. I'm a member of the PCA that I represent Dundalk with all the other League of Ireland clubs, and Jim McCardle represents Drogheda United, and with plenty of good people on it. But and we would all share your thought that there has to be investment. But as you said, we're not the first one. Lee Power invested in Waterford, and he's seen the benefits so far. They got promoted last year. I know that Galway United last year were in discussions with people. I know that now Pat Sullivan is looking for investors down in Limerick. And I think that we're not the first one. I don't think we'll be the last. But it was a long process, Gerry, and I still say that the reason why we've gone with Peak Six is that we looked into it very deeply, and we wouldn't have done it unless Andy or Paul were happy that this was being handed over to the good people. So that's what I would say. Yeah, I welcome any investment in any club, but they have to be the right people.
What about your own position? Where do you stand now?
At the moment, I'm staying in Dundalk Football Club, and again, all the rumours are right. Mal Brannigan will be coming in as CEO or some title, and I'll be working underneath him, and I'll be reporting to him. So I look forward to it.
What about the boys, Andy and Paul? Are they've sold all the shares. The shares are gone. Is there any role for them going forward?
Well, if you want to purchase any nuts, bolts and screws, you can ring them a fast fix there. They're there at the moment, and they're trying to...
You better pay Doyle for that ad when you're walking out the door there,
They're all over your Manny's jerseys. But look, the boys will still be involved as in honorary ambassadors, and I think that the people of Dundalk will be happy with that. They're very grateful for the contribution that Andy and Paul made to football. I think it's very telling that not only has Dundalk made the sports news this morning, it's made the headlines of the normal news, and for all the right reasons, and that's only good. And I think Andy and Paul deserve to take a huge bow for that.
A statement from Peak Six themselves. That's, I suppose, what everybody's waiting for, to hear from the new owners. Can we expect that imminently? And what do you expect that will contain? The vision for the club, the vision for the ground?
I don't think you're going to see a blueprint that will show everything they're going to do in the next 10 years, Gerry. But I do expect that that from what I can gather from talking to one or two of them, they hope to be in Dundalk at the end of the month, where they'll meet the volunteers, they'll meet with people of the community, and they'll talk to the supporters and maybe give some idea of their vision then.
FAI's take on this, or have you had any contact with them? What do they say to it? It's none of their business, is it?
I know it is their business, because the owners of any football club have to apply for your licence. And to be fair to the FAI, it is a strict licensing policy, and has to be done in the right way. But they're in support of it. They would agree. The people that have been involved with Big Six are respectable people and respectable businessmen. Trevor Watkins with Pins and Masons, who represent the Big Six, is a former chairman of Bournemouth Football Club, and very well respected. So the FAI know about it. We kept in contact with them weekly, and kept them on developments, and they're very keen, like everybody else, to see facilities being improved in Orient Park, and so do we.
You're happy?
Well, I'm relieved, Gerry, because it's been a long process. It's gone on since September or October. And, you know, I'm only an employee of the football club, but I'm also a supporter and a former player. So, if you know, I'm happy that the boys have got out with their reputation intact. The community are very thankful for what they've done. Obviously, I am, because one of them is my brother, and I'm also, if they are happy that these are the right people, and I've been through the process with them, I think they're right.
Martin Connolly, thank you so much for joining us on Late Lunch today. It's a hell of a story, and good luck to the new owners of the club, and congratulations to you, your brother Andy and Paul, and all involved in the wonderful success they brought to Dundalk in recent years. We watch with bated breath. We'll follow this story for sure. Martin Connolly, thanks a million for joining me.
Thanks, Gerry. Thank you. Bye-bye.